everyone, it's Frida and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to make this Manta Cloisonne Enamel pendant. I've learned Cloisonne enameling 20-something years ago in an art school in Europe. Let's get to the project. I'm making the setting first for the enamel. It's going to be like a champlavé setting because I'm going to build the Cloisonne enamel in it. If you follow my channel, you've probably seen that I made these kinds of settings before. It's going to be a square piece and I'm going to fold up the sides to create the frame. First I cut out the desired size and in this case it's an inch by inch. I scored the lines where I'm going to fold up the material to create the frame. To be able to do that, I cut out the corners. Now I have this little cutting tool which has a sharp stainless steel edge and I'm going to cut the material partially along the scored lines. When I was done with that, I inlaid the copper to make it softer, more malleable. I pickled the piece and I grabbed my steel block and a mallet and I folded down the material along the scored lines. I did all four sides on this block, but you can tell probably that the third and the fourth sides made the back a little bit uneven. I evened out the back with the help of this little steel block. I drilled 2 holes in it to be able to hang the piece. Very gently, because I didn't want the sides to get deformed, I domed the back a little bit. By now I needed a change of scenery, so I went outside and I made a tea. Spring has definitely arrived and I love this time of the year. Nature is coming alive now. I've noticed a lots of beautiful spring flowers on my walks and look at this beautiful yucca. I left the tea to steep and I came back to work a little bit more. I sifted the back with black counter enamel, fired it, and then I sifted the front with clear fuse. I fired it with my torch and actually I prefer to do that when I fire the clear fuse because I see exactly when the oxide's fusing into the clear fuse. Now I was ready to fold the Cloisonne wires. They're flat wires and they stand on their edges. I use pliers and a tweezer to fold them to match my design. Until you watch me doing this, I would like to talk to you about my course on Patreon. It's a beginner-friendly 3-part course and you can follow me step by step, and by the end of this course you're going to end up with a beautiful Cloisonne enamel piece. I'm going to leave the link in the description. I'm in the process of editing another course for my Patreon, so stay tuned for that. I finished my wire work and actually I finished the work for today. I had a nice relaxing rest of the day. The next day I switched on my kiln and continued the work. I wanted to cover the surface of the pendant with silver foil, so I made the foil first. I rolled scrap silver out in my rolling mill as thin as I could, and after that I texturized it with my hammer. I covered the front of the pendant with it and I fired it. I sifted the surface with another coat of clear enamel and I fired it again off camera. Can you guys guess how many firings did making this piece took? It's probably more than you think. Now I'm placing the Cloisonne wires on the surface. I'm using a tweezer and I'm using glue to hold them in place until the next firing, which I did off camera. Now it was time to choose the colors. I used a lot of colors for this. I'm going to share them on my Patreon. I had to wash some of the colors, so I did that. I started to apply the first layer of colors here, as you can see. I have these little dots on the body of the ray and those were pretty challenging to fill because they're tiny. I love this process though, it's so relaxing and I have so much time to think. I was just thinking about the time when I was 20 years old and I was living back in Europe. Back then, I could have never imagined that one day I'm going to live in America and I'm going to do YouTube in English. I didn't speak any English back then. YouTube didn't even exist. And I remember after we moved, the first year was so hard. It was exciting too, but it was hard because of my lack of English. I remember trying to talk to the teachers of my kids and other parents, and I didn't understand what they were telling me, so I was pretending that I did. I was just nodding along. Probably they knew that I didn't understand the thing, but they were so kind. After a little while, I picked up some English and I managed to make some friends too, so it was all good. I got sidetracked here, so let's get back to the project. You know guys what cloisonne means? It means the cells between these little wires, and it's a French word. So I'm trying to get these enamels in between these little cells, and I'm using a lot of water, and the water helps me to transfer them. This is taking a lot of time, so I sped up the video. After all the cells are filled out, we have to wait the enamel to dry. It was a perfect timing because Lucky started to be impatient. He wanted to walk and wanted some attention. So I left the enamel to dry and we went outside to have a walk. And here is the other cutie who is so lazy these days that we have to catch the mice instead of him. I came back and I fired the piece on 1400 Fahrenheit for 2 minutes. Enamel always shrinks during firing, so I'm going to apply 2 more layers of colors. I'm going to do the 3rd layer off camera. While you watch me do this, I'm going to answer a question I got last week. The question is if the torch is as strong as the kiln. I have a few torch-fired projects on my channel and I got this question on one of those. So the torch is really strong, and the advantage of the kiln that you can set it to a certain temperature so it's not gonna heat up more than you wish. With the torch you can't really control that as well, so it can heat up your piece even more than you would like. It's important to think of that when you work with fine silver, because you can melt fine silver really easily by mistake with a torch. The kiln is set up to a certain temperature where the enamel melts but the silver not yet. When I work with silver, I really prefer to use my kiln. But you can safely enamel on copper with a torch because the copper's melting point is much higher. When I was done with all the layers and I fired them, I started the sanding. Guys, if you would like to see more videos like this from me, please check out this playlist. So, the sanding is the last step of this process. Here we sand the surface smooth and expose the wires. Enamel loses its shine during the sanding, so we have to fire it again to get the shine back. I cleaned off the oxides from the edges and it was done. I think it looks really cool. I really love how the texture of the silver foil is coming through. If you guys would like to support me, please visit my store and please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link is going to be in the description. If you made it this far, please subscribe, like and share, and thank you guys so much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!